Hello and welcome to the Bundesliga preview with sportsbet.io. Don't forget there is a La Liga and a Serie A version of this as well, so take a look at the YouTube channel. We're joined as always by our friend over in Germany, Taufig Khalil, and we're going to talk the Bundesliga, but first we're going to talk a German manager of the England national team. Thomas Tuchel has been announced on an 18-month contract as the new England manager. He's had a bit of a penchant for choosing some tough jobs of late, Thomas Tuchel. Bayern, it was a mess behind the scenes there. Chelsea wasn't exactly stable when he got there as well. What's your initial thoughts on this, Taufig?
Wow, that's a tough one because we had some problems with Thomas Tuchel in Munich as a coach. It was hard for us media persons to talk to him, to speak to him, because he's not that guy, which is very open-minded. He started good, but then he went to the way where everybody expected him to be. His best time, actually, and this is so funny, that happened when he got fired, after he got fired, when he knew that he has nothing to lose. He started to say all the things he didn't say before. The press conference somehow suddenly turned really funny, interesting, because he started to be honest. The heart was on his tongue. That's what we say in Germany. I don't know if you say that in English. And so he started to say really what he was thinking about some things going on in the club. But to be honest, the football he played, not very beautiful. The way how he argued or what he did, how he acted with the players. Not last summer, the year before, Thomas Tuchel started a discussion which followed him all around his second year in Munich. It was like he started to discuss about, I need a holding six. We were talking about Joshua Kimmich, which is one of the best players on the central midfield position in the whole world. And suddenly, somehow, Thomas Tuchel had in his mind, I need Declan Rice. I need João Palhinha. I need whatever, a holding six. He started the discussion. He slapped Joshua Kimmich right in his face. He sent him away to the right side in the defense. All these things. This guy was playing really bad after that because he lost all the self-confidence. The same with Leon Goretzka. He was one of the best players there in the central midfield for a long time. And then Thomas Tuchel, before this happened, he benched him in the preparation time, in the matches, in the test matches. He was not playing. Everybody had the feeling, wow, Goretzka is out. Well, then someone get injured in the midfield, and Goretzka was in again. So it was the way. He was not good for the self-confidence. Yes, and that should be very good for all you guys in England. He came along very well with your captain, Harry Kane, which will be his captain now in England. I think you'll not choose someone else. Well, maybe Declan Rice, because now he has Declan Rice. He always wanted. He has his holding six now. We will see if you have use for him. But to be fair, his time in Munich was not easy. He followed after Nagelsmann. The kick out of Nagelsmann was a very tough one. And no one was happy. Yeah, it was not easy for him to jump into that. A lot of problems with Oliver Kahn and Hasan Salihamidzic. They were fired 3 months after they got Tuchel in. It was a tough time for him. I'm pretty sure if he would have made it to Munich in another time, it might have been better.
Yeah. I mean, it was difficult behind the scenes at Munich and obviously some of his other jobs as well. So he's taken a very easy job where everyone's happy with him all the time as England manager. Look, I have concerns over Tuchel as well. His knockout record, though, on the whole, in which matters in international tournaments, is exceptionally good.
Yeah, well, he can do that. He knows that. But the thing is, he did it very successful with Paris. He made it to the final. He lost to Bayern Munich. He made very successful. He made it very successful with Chelsea. He not only made it to the final, no, he took the trophy. But the thing is with him, it's in Germany we say someone who leaves a place and the people are not I'm more happy that he leaves than if he have stayed.
Right.
If the club, if he leaves because there's a big relief. We say he left the place with burnt soil. So
Right, yeah.
what he left is some burnt soil. Wherever Dortmund, Paris, Chelsea, Munich, he was successful. Munich not so, but in all these places, finally at the end, it was not that, oh Thomas, we are so sorry that you leave us.
Yeah.
No, it was always a kind of fight.
Yeah.
Because maybe it is like that. I've never coached a team like that. Maybe you have to be like that if you want to be successful. And sometimes it's not easy to be everyone's friend.
No, but sometimes, one of the greatest victories is leaving a great legacy, isn't it? And leaving the ground fertile enough for people to pick it up and carry it on from there. We will see what happens with Thomas
Let's
Tuchel.
talk. Jupp Heynckes,
Yeah.
big success, won the triple, and everybody's still crying when they hear his name because he's big in Munich.
Hero. Yeah, Jupp Heynckes is an absolute hero, and he was incredible as well. It's going to be fascinating. I can't wait to see how this goes. It's more interesting than it is exciting, I think, at the moment. You mentioned Dortmund, one of Thomas Tuchel's former sides. They take on St Pauli this weekend. Dortmund are a bizarre team at the moment, Taufig. I just cannot get a handle on them at all. Lose away at the first eye against Union Berlin, having absolutely battered Bochum and Heidenheim, obviously, at home. They were destroyed at Stuttgart. Your brain says they should beat St Pauli. It should be done. Don't worry about it. But they're a tough team to support at the moment, Dortmund.
Absolutely. And from now on, I swear in this podcast, I will be more careful because I always say, wow, Dortmund, St Pauli, that's an easy one. No. I don't say that anymore. In the Bundesliga, we have seen so many crazy results in the first weeks. So many bizarre results. Teams you never had on the list beating other big teams. St. Pauli, how can they beat Freiburg? Wow, no idea about that. Things like that happen. And well, that's good for football. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Dortmund on 7th and against St. Pauli on 15th should be at home ground. Actually, it should be no problem for Dortmund. But next week, Dortmund, here, Real Madrid, Santiago Bernabeu. How can you concentrate a full 100% when you think about Vini and about whoever is playing there instead of playing St. Pauli? I'm not sure if all Dortmund players can name all St. Pauli players, but definitely they can name all Real Madrid players. And this is something very, very hard for the head.
It's easier, though, if you're going into it in better form. If you're confident of yourselves, you know you've got that big game and there is a bit of your brain there, but you kind of go, well, look, we've got a big game coming up, but we're playing well. We'll dispatch St. Pauli and we'll carry on. But they're not. They're inconsistent. They're conceding plenty of goals. So they're in a strange place. I mean, listen, Dortmund and Real Madrid play each other every single year in the Champions League, it feels like these days. But there's no way I could go at a short price with Dortmund here. There's just no way.
Well, actually, I would say Dortmund wins that match, but it might be like that. They might win against St. Pauli. Then it's all as it should be.
Yeah.
When you take the name of the clubs and the money of the clubs and the player, but they have a young coach. It seems like they still not consistent with that playing style of the coach. So really, I would give it a draw.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was thinking as well, to be honest. We'll move on to what looks like the best game of the weekend. And last season, Bayer Leverkusen had an 8-1 aggregate total over Eintracht Frankfurt. It was a very simple couple of games for Xabi Alonso's side. But this, Taufig, is a very different Eintracht Frankfurt this season.
Absolutely. And Bayern Munich just experienced what Eintracht Frankfurt can do, and especially what Omar Mamouche can do. I think Eintracht Frankfurt scored 3 times against Bayern Munich. I'm not sure if they needed for that more of 30 seconds of ball possession. It was unbelievable. Someone lost for all three goals. Yeah, they only had 4 chances in the match, and they made 3. And Omar Mamouche, he's like a missile. He's just like, pow. speed him. I don't see Leverkusen that strong as they have been before. Um, if I see the self confidence of Eintracht Frankfurt after this match against Bayern Munich, well, I think in the mind of Eintracht Frankfurt is, well, if he can make it with Munich, why not with Leverkusen? Leverkusen was totally weak when they played in Bayern Munich. It was one of the worst performances I've seen so far in this season. A totally disappointment of Leverkusen. Maybe that's the reason why Xabi Alonso tries to get more in the head of his players and tell them what he's thinking, that they should find back, that they should get back on track. Otherwise, the title, at least the first title, is gone already. Because it's really, they're struggling, and you can't say they are not play even when they win, and even when they win in the 97th or 99th minute, they're not playing very good.
No, and I mean, listen, Leverkusen also off the back of a 2-2 draw against Holstein Kiel, which was a real surprise as well. So this is a fascinating game. I can't wait for this. And by the way, if you're looking for a goal scorer, as Taufig says, 8 goals in 6 games so far for the Rocket of Omar Mamouche, who just looks absolutely sensational so far this year, and will probably be somewhere else next season. Let's head to Freiburg against Augsburg. Freiburg are really, in terms of teams doing well, the surprise of the season so far. I really like this side. I think there's a real team feeling to them. Do you know what I mean? Where you don't necessarily have tons of stars, but there is a real team feeling. And what at the moment Schuster is doing is really, really good.
Yeah, well, Freiburg always have been like that. It's a student city down there in the Black Forest. It's all really relaxed. When you come to Freiburg, you cannot believe that this is a city which is hosting a club which is on the way to the Champions League, with a beautiful stadium, with all new stadium, with all these things. Especially when you know Christian Streich, who has been there for, I don't know, 500 years, the head coach of Freiburg, who made all that. But it's still him. It's still him. It's still his spirit, which is in the city, which is in the club, and that's the reason why they play like that. And to be honest, in that match, it's a clear favorite. It's Freiburg.
Yeah.
Augsburg. I've traveled with Augsburg to Freiburg. Well, I've never seen them really doing very well there. But the thing is, with Augsburg, it's a crazy situation. They have a good coach, and on it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and you never know who is getting out of the bus. Is it Dr. Jekyll or is it Mr. Hyde? Is it the good one or is it the bad one? I have absolutely no idea. For me, it should be a clear victory for Freiburg. But hey, as I said, I'll not say that anymore.
No, it's a crazy league. I mean, one quick word as well on Noah Weishaupt, the left back, young left back, who I've seen a little bit of this season, and he's played a couple of times, and I've been really impressed by him. He's sort of a wing back winger, isn't he, Noah Weishaupt? And again, I'm definitely getting that pronunciation wrong. But I really like him.
Well, yeah, it's these players, and they develop these players in Freiburg. It's not that Freiburg is not a club which is taking a lot of money in the hands and buying players. No, they give players a chance, and then maybe they sell them to other clubs. But first, Freiburg is the perfect place if you are a big club and if you have a talented player. If you want to get him on loan to an excellent club, which is playing big, with a big crowd, with a lot of things, then give him to Freiburg. Freiburg, that's where you can really learn. And I think that's what happened to him.
Yeah, very good player. And we'll finish with Bayern Munich against Stuttgart. Both teams to score, for those bettors out there, landed in every Stuttgart game so far this season. They're scoring and conceding in almost equal measure. Bayern's most recent games, everyone will know this, but they drew against Bayer Leverkusen, probably should have beaten them. Lost at Aston Villa, you were of course there for that, Taufig, and had that incredible 3-0 draw against Eintracht Frankfurt. This plays into the idea of this season being bonkers, doesn't it? Because for whatever reason, I'm not completely sold on Bayern Munich beating Stuttgart.
Well, actually, for me, you said for you, Leverkusen against Frankfurt is the big match of the weekend. In Germany, Everybody is talking about Bayern against Stuttgart. Yeah, it's two cities, 200 kilometers apart. It's you can go by bus. You don't fly from one. Not even the football players fly. They take the bus. This is 2 hours. It's a big southern rivalry. It's the big southern derby in Germany, and for a long time Stuttgart have been out of that on eye level. But now they play on eye level with Sebastian Hoeneß, which is the nephew of Uli Hoeneß, which is the the founder of Bayern Munich, if you want to.
Of a modern Bayern Munich, yeah.
The modern Bayern Munich. He's the guy who made Bayern Munich to this big money machine. And it's very interesting. Bayern Munich tried to get a hand on Sebastian Hoeneß. Sebastian Hoeneß let play fantastic football. The German national team on the last match day now only had, I think, 3 players of Bayern Munich, but 6 out of Eintracht Frankfurt, out of VfB Stuttgart.
Yeah.
6, yeah. Some of these players belongs to Bayern Munich or have still belong to Bayern Munich, like Nübel, the goalkeeper, or have played in the past for Bayern Munich, like Angelo Stiller. So this will be a very interesting match. And now we always said after this 3 matches, you were just talking about Bayern against Leverkusen, the draw against Frankfurt, the draw and the loss against Villa. Everybody said, the next 2 matches, and this is now for Bayern Munich, it's Stuttgart and then it's Barcelona. Will give a hint where the winter will turn for Vincent Kompany. If it will be a cold winter or if it will be a warm wind blowing over the Alps. Because at the end of the day, you're not getting any points in football as you get it in ice skating for the most beautiful thing. No, you only get the points for scoring and for winning matches. And I think that's what they need. They're not supposed to die in beauty. They're supposed to win titles with Vincent Kompany. And so far, the club, I talked to a lot of club officials in the last few weeks. So far, the whole club is backing Kompany because of the beautiful football, because of the way he appears in public, the way he talks, the way he addresses people. Well, I know this club very, very well, and I can tell you the wind might turn very icy soon if the beauty goes on, but if the results are not coming. So it is, I would not say it's high pressure, but I would say it's time to deliver now for Kompany, and the matches will not get easier. Let's just talk one brief word about the system of Kompany. It is this high pressing football with Manuel Neuer very close to the center of the pitch, with Upamecano and Kim 10, 15 meters inside the half of the opponent. So if they lose the ball, then what happens? Ask Omar Mamouche. Fast players running in the direction of Bayern Munich's goal. The other players, Bayern Munich players, have to turn around. So they have to get the speed. Mamouche or the other fast players already have. We have the scene with John Duran at Aston Villa. It was only 2 ball contacts from Aston Villa from the one side to the other, and the ball was there. So for Bayern Munich, if you play against good teams, you need to score high because you are in permanent danger that the opponent scores against you because of this risky game.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. And I mean, listen, Dennis Undav, for example, isn't a man with that pace, but he is a man in good form at the moment. 4 goals in 6 games in the league. He's had a good international break as well, Dennis Undav. So there is talent there. Nick Voltemada, which again, I'm sure I've mispronounced the name of.
Jamie Leveling, who came from Fürth, from the 2nd division, and the young guy, he just scored the winning goal for Germany against the Netherlands. Come on, what would you do in the next match? Wow, that broad shoulders. So I'm pretty sure Leveling is fast. I've seen him playing a lot in the 2nd division. It's not an easy game for Bayern Munich. For me, sorry, Vincent, but it's close to another draw.
but I love this. We're talking about Dortmund possibly drawing. We're talking about Leverkusen maybe not getting the best of Eintracht Frankfurt. We're talking about Bayern not being guaranteed winners against Stuttgart. That, to me, Taufig, tells me that this league this season is amazing. It's so open.
It is, and well, Leipzig with these 2 draws of
Leipzig.
Bayern Munich now is on eye level. Both 14 points on top of the table, and Bayern Munich, if they don't win and Leipzig wins, it could easily be that Bayern Munich will not be anymore on first position after this weekend. So,
yeah.
Well,
Leipzig travel to Mainz, by the way, for those of you who are looking at that. Leipzig travel to Mainz.
It's also a tough game because Mainz much better than the years before. For me, Mainz was one of the first names I had in mind when I was talking about teams getting relegated after the season. Looks like Mainz is doing very well this season.
It's going to be very interesting. Obviously, it's Burkhardt, isn't it? The front man for Mainz, who's been so good, Jonathan Burkhardt, who's I've always liked. Anyway, Taufig, thank you so much. Thank you as well for your expertise on Thomas Tuchel. I cannot wait to see what happens in that English dugout. It's going to be, that's kind of how I feel actually, Taufig, at the moment as well. It's going to be fascinating. It's not going to be boring because that's not what Thomas Tuchel necessarily does. And we will see if it turns out to be successful. Loads of action in the Bundesliga available for you. A week where perhaps taking on the big boys might be the best approach.